I'm Jess Stumpf. I am one of the co-owners of Vermont Surrogacy Network. VSN is different from other matching organizations because we see ourselves as a network versus an agency. Agency is a very corporate term, and we like to see ourselves as the connecting link between gestational surrogates and intended parents, as they're so named. Vermont Surrogacy Network is different from other matching organizations in the fact that we are a small, local, intimate matching organization. We focus on working with intended parents and surrogates from Vermont, New England, and New York. The reason we do this is so that you can actually keep a very small, local connection with your surrogate. It's not a challenge for your surrogate to drive 3 or 4 hours to go to a clinic. So let's say if you have a Vermont surrogate and you're working in Connecticut, she can easily drive there to get to her doctor's appointment and doesn't have to take 3 flights to get across the country. It makes it more personal for her. She can bring her spouse and her partner. Potentially, one of her children might travel with her for this event. But it's also that when it comes to going to appointments, the intended parents are actually able to go to more appointments and to be involved. So the biggest difference with us as Vermont Surrogacy versus other matching organizations is that we are very small, we're very intimate and personalized, and the purpose behind that is to ensure that you have an intimate experience with your surrogate and your intended parents. Vermont Surrogacy Network sees themselves as a network versus an agency in the respect that we view the term agency as a very corporate term. It's less personal and less connected. At Vermont Surrogacy, we really want to keep the intimate piece of the process. We want to be a network, we want to be a link, we want to be a partner with the surrogate and the intended parents. Just one of the pieces of the puzzle that really works to create this incredible journey and experience. The advantages of working with an agency or a network like Vermont Surrogacy versus looking to have an independent journey, as in for a surrogate to try to match herself with intended parents or intended parents to match themselves with surrogates without the agency, it basically causes people to not have the extra support that they need and guidance through a journey that has many legs and many hurdles, challenges that we don't realize are happening until they actually happen, and at that point they don't have the extra resources that they need. Working with an agency allows you to have additional resources that you're even unaware that you're going to need until you actually need them. So you have someone in your corner, you have your cheerleader, you have your support team that's built in outside of your own family and your own network, because the surrogacy journey can add a lot of additional pressures on your own family and support system. So we're here as a matching organization to help take those pressures off and to guide you through every step of the journey. Without a matching organization, you don't have that kind of guidance. One of the myths about surrogacy is that people believe that you're going to become attached to the baby as a surrogate. This is certainly a myth because in all reality, from my own experience as a surrogate and from many of the surrogates I've worked with and talked to about this, it's truly that you're becoming attached to the parents and the journey and being a part of this extended family rather than actually becoming attached to the baby itself. The baby is the concept, the idea that you're creating. Yes, it's growing in your body throughout this 9 or 10 months, but the people you're sharing this journey with are the parents of this baby that are excited, and they're the ones talking about, with the baby name and planning for childcare and building the nursery. They're building the belief and the story of what their future family looks like, whereas you're part of that process, but you're not looking at the future with this child. You're looking at seeing them grow up from the vantage point of the distant auntie versus the mother, the nurturer. So it's not giving up your baby, it's giving back the baby to the parents. So one of the myths about surrogacy is that women are going through the surrogacy journey for the financial compensation. They're doing it just for the money. Anyone who's been pregnant before understands the challenges and the fact that this is not a one-day event. This is 9, 10 months of your life of just being pregnant. That's also not taking into consideration the multiple months leading up to the actual process of becoming pregnant. So the financial compensation that goes with surrogacy is a nice added bonus in your life for financial reasons, but it's not a purpose that is driving people to do this, to become a surrogate. And we're looking for surrogates who, they need to be financially stable on their own. They need to be able to independently support themselves outside of surrogacy completely, and that there is the altruistic side, there is the I want to give back, I want to help someone. I love being pregnant, and this is another way that I can help my society and help people that are not as fortunate as I am. So the mission of Vermont Surrogacy Network is to create an affordable, ethical option and alternative for family building in the Vermont, New England, New York area. What we mean by affordable and ethical and supported is that we believe that this should be completely supported, that we should be doing this for all the right purposes, and we try to keep our costs below the standard average in this quote-unquote industry that we work in. Open, honest, transparent communication is one of the biggest pieces that we're looking for when it comes to surrogacy and that we're offering along the way. Vermont Surrogacy Network follows the ASRM guidelines, which is the American Society for Reproductive Medicine guidelines. These are guidelines that were put out many years ago that are updated every few years that kind of give a code of conduct and expectations for matching, for screening, through the matching organization, but also with the clinics that we're working with for screening the surrogate, for medical screening, psychological screening, the same thing with the intended parents as well. So we follow those guidelines in order to ensure that we are following the highest code of ethics. So the most important thing that I think all surrogates and intended parents need to know about surrogacy is that regardless of which matching organization you choose to work with or which clinic, you really need to find the right team that fits your need. There are large matching organizations, medium and small. There are smaller clinics, larger clinics, different regions. It's really important to find the team that works for you, that fits you best. From that point, you can feel confident in who you're choosing to move forward with, and at that point you can start building trust. Because if you don't have trust when it comes to surrogacy, it's going to be a very hard, challenging experience. We really do focus on open, honest, transparent communication with all parties, through clinics, with the attorneys, and with your surrogate and your intended parent. You have to have that built-in communication, and you have to trust the process. You have to trust the people you're working with. Part of creating Vermont Surrogacy Network is the continual building of that network. So the surrogates that have worked with us, the parents that have worked with us, the children that have been born through this organization, they really have become a bigger family, the Vermont Surrogacy family. Our surrogates are part of an internal Facebook group, because there's so much on social media that we actually created an internal Facebook group just for our Vermont surrogates to support each other. And the reason we do that is because we want this network. We want the social community piece of this process, the connectivity. And yeah, it's grown beautifully. We've been doing this for almost 9 years now, 8 to 9 years. And the surrogates that we work with, they've actually really gotten to know each other well. We're starting to look at having future gatherings, like summer gatherings with all the surrogates in Vermont at a family park or a state park, and really keeping the connection and keeping the network, because it's all about support. So the matching process is actually my absolute favorite part of the process. I get giddy, I get goosebumps, I get very excited because I do all of the interviews for the intended parents and the surrogates, the face-to-face getting to know you piece, because that is such an important piece, is that, again, knowing who you're working with and trusting that piece of the process. We have very hands-on matching. It's very individualized. So not only are we matching people based on the written information in their protocols and their profiles, we're also matching based off personality and communication style, which is what I learned through the process of doing their screening and these interviews. So Vermont Surrogacy, we tend to take more of a hands-on approach at the very beginning when we're doing the matching piece. Of course, doing the screening, doing the matching, putting people together, walking with you through every step of the program, through getting your medical screening, and then going to your legal contracts, and then transfer, and then crossing your fingers for 10 days and just hoping it works, to finding out that you're pregnant, and then moving forward. Typically, once we find out you're pregnant, you're building that relationship more with the parents. So Vermont Surrogacy is never going to disappear. We're always there. We're always checking in, we're chiming in, but we really want the relationship to start building organically with the parents. I decided to become a surrogate, and I realized that there was no one for me to talk to. There were no answers for me to get. I wanted to talk to someone, and reaching out to other matching organizations, you could fill out an application, but you could never actually talk to a person. That really truly is the reason that we exist. And I felt like there's a better way to do this. There's a more intimate, personal way to do this, and to ensure that surrogates are getting their questions answered and their voices heard. So for me, being a surrogate really helped me see what was missing and what surrogates are really looking for, and what kind of connection they want to have. And again, what kind of people they want to work with, and what kind of relationships they're trying to build. What I love most about what we do here at Vermont Surrogacy is making those connections. I truly do love the matching portion of this process, because it feels like we're putting together the last piece of the puzzle. So before that, you've determined who you're working with for a clinic, what matching organization you're working with, but the last piece is missing. It's the surrogate. So once we put the connection together with the match, it all starts to become real for everyone. The surrogate now knows who they're going to work with and whose child they're going to carry. The parents now know who this amazing woman is that is going to help create their family. And it really is like that first big transitional moment where like, okay, this is real, it's going to happen now. That's my favorite part. Yeah, because it feels like that's the piece that's what we do. We're here to match you. We're here to make this piece happen for you. So the clinics are creating your embryos and doing the transfer. The lawyers are creating your contracts. But the matching organization is making the match. They're making this amazing thing happen, and it shouldn't be taken lightly. It should not be just, oh, you're the next person on the list, here's the next surrogate, there's a profile. You need to have somebody who's really looking deeper into that for you and saying, let's look at this in detail. Let's not just, check this box, check that box, and it's a match. It's so much more. It's about who these people really are. And then I have people come back to me and be like, this was perfect. I don't know how you did this. I could never have asked for a better parent, or never could have asked for a better surrogate. And some of them, carry on lifelong relationships. I have one that they literally, like a year and a half later, they still message each other every day. We have intended parents that will work with the same gestational surrogate multiple times if they're trying to have, extend their family. And then we also have surrogates that if the parents, in a case like they've had twins or they're just trying to have one, they will go on and work with another family. Because surrogacy really it's just one of the most incredible experiences. There's nothing like it. It's so nurturing and caring and giving, but it's also so rewarding for the surrogate because she's seeing a family obtain this incredible goal that they've had for years and through struggle and trial, and she gets to be a part of that success and that story. An ideal surrogate for us would be someone who is a nurturer by nature. Most of the surrogates that tend to be the most ideal surrogates, they work in nurturing caregiving roles like they're nurses, teachers, social workers, childcare providers, things of that nature. It's because it's already in their heart. They love to give, they love to help, they want to support their community, their society, these other families. So it's just ingrained in their DNA. It is who they are as people. And that also speaks back to it's not just for the money, it's because it's who they are as people. So we're looking for those surrogates. We're looking for women who love to be pregnant, and honestly, we've had surrogates who don't love to be pregnant, but they want to give back. They want to offer more to their community, and they want to help other people attain the goal of being a parent, which is something that they are so blessed to have in their own lives. In order to be a gestational surrogate, you have to have at least one child of your own that you've carried on your own, had a healthy delivery, full term, with no major complications. So when contemplating the idea of becoming a gestational surrogate, honestly, the best thing to do is to just reach out, set up a time to have a call with us, send us an email. We're here to answer questions. That's what we do. We want to make sure that people are fully informed and have complete, correct knowledge about what the surrogacy process looks like, and that they feel well informed and supported through this journey. So if you are thinking about becoming a gestational surrogate, we encourage you to set up a call or send us an email so that we can help answer the questions that you do have, answer the questions of your partner or spouse, and make sure that you feel completely supported and that you have a full knowledge of what surrogacy and the surrogacy process looks like. So the steps you can expect to go through with Vermont Surrogacy Network is the first step is going to be having a phone call with me, followed by completing our application. Really, go over everything about surrogacy, talk about your application, and make sure you're ready to take those next steps. It's also that point where we're building your profile that will be shared with the intended parents. Once you've completed that portion, you're ready to get matched.